Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chill English Channel. We're really happy you're here with us today, spending a little time improving your English in a calm and simple way.
Hi, everyone. It's always great to have you with us. Whether you're at home, outside, or just taking a short break, we're glad you chose to learn with us.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Jake.
And today, we're going to talk about something very real, something that almost everyone experiences.
That's right. Today's topic is Stop Procrastinating Now.
This is not just an English lesson,
It's also a life skill.
because procrastination can affect your studies, your work, your goals, and even your confidence.
And the interesting thing is, most people already know what they should do.
But they still don't do it.
Exactly. That's procrastination.
So before we start our conversation, let's clearly understand one important question.
What is procrastination?
Procrastination means delaying or avoiding something that you know you should do.
Especially when it's important.
For example, imagine you have homework that you need to finish today.
But instead of starting, you watch videos, check your phone, or do something else.
Even though you know you should be working.
That's procrastination.
Another example, maybe you need to start a project,
But you keep telling yourself, I'll do it later.
or I'll start tomorrow.
That's also procrastination.
It's not about being lazy.
That's very important.
Many people think procrastination means laziness.
But that's not true.
Often, procrastination happens because something feels difficult, unclear, or overwhelming,
Or sometimes because we're afraid of making mistakes.
or even because we don't feel motivated,
So, instead of starting, we avoid the task.
and we choose something easier or more comfortable,
Like scrolling on social media.
or watching one more video.
Or doing small, unimportant tasks.
The problem is the task doesn't disappear,
It stays there.
and often it becomes more stressful over time,
Because now you have less time.
and more pressure.
That's why procrastination can create a cycle.
You delay something,
Then you feel stressed,
then you avoid it even more.
and the cycle continues.
But here's the good news.
You can break that cycle.
And that's exactly what we're going to help you do today.
We're going to share 6 simple and practical ways to stop procrastinating.
These are not complicated ideas.
And you don't need special tools.
You can start using them today.
Right after this lesson.
Before we jump into the 6 ways, let me ask you something, Jake.
Okay, I'm ready.
Do you ever procrastinate?
Honestly, yes.
Good, you're human.
For example, if I have a task that feels big or difficult, I sometimes delay starting it.
What do you usually do instead?
I might check my phone, watch something, or suddenly decide to organize my desk.
That's very common. What about you?
I procrastinate when I don't feel clear about what to do.
That makes sense. If a task feels confusing, I might avoid it.
So, in both cases, the problem is not laziness.
Exactly. It's either the task feels too big or too unclear.
That's a very important idea.
Because once you understand the reason, you can fix it.
And that brings us to our first method.
Way number 1, start small.
This might sound simple, but it's extremely powerful.
Many people procrastinate because a task feels too big,
For example, writing a report.
or studying for an exam.
When you think about the whole task, it feels overwhelming.
And your brain says, let's not do this right now.
So instead of thinking about the whole task,
Focus on a very small step.
for example, don't say, I will write the entire report.
Say, I will write 1 paragraph.
Or even, I will write 1 sentence.
That feels much easier.
And starting is the most important part.
Because once you start, something interesting happens.
It becomes easier to continue.
Exactly. Action creates momentum.
Let's take another example.
Imagine you need to clean your room,
That sounds like a big task.
but instead you say, I will clean just my desk.
Or, I will pick up 5 things.
Small actions reduce resistance.
And they help you move forward.
So remember this idea.
Don't wait until you feel ready.
Just start small.
Now let's move to way number 2.
Way number 2, use a timer.
This is one of the easiest techniques you can try.
And it works very well.
The idea is simple.
You set a timer for a short time.
For example, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 25 minutes.
And during that time, you focus only on your task.
No distractions.
No checking your phone.
No switching to something else.
Just focus for that short time.
When the timer ends, you can take a break.
This makes the task feel less scary.
Because you're not saying, I will work for hours.
You're saying, I will work for just 15 minutes.
And that feels possible.
And very often, after the timer ends,
You want to continue.
because you've already started.
And starting is the hardest part.
This method helps you build focus step by step.
Now let's go to way number 3.
Way number 3, remove distractions.
This is very important in modern life.
Because distractions are everywhere.
Phones, messages, social media, notifications.
Even small interruptions can break your focus.
For example, you check your phone for a moment.
And suddenly, 20 minutes are gone.
That happens more often than people realize.
So what can you do?
You can change your environment
For example, put your phone away.
or turn off notifications.
You can also choose a quiet place to work.
A place where you can focus without interruptions.
The goal is simple.
Make focus easier.
And make distractions harder.
Because when distractions are easy,
Procrastination becomes easy too.
and when focus is easy,
Taking action becomes easier too.
so let's quickly review.
Way number 1, start small.
Way number 2, use a timer.
Way number 3, remove distractions.
These 3 ideas can already help you a lot.
But we're only halfway through,
We still have 3 more powerful ways to share.
and they will help you stay consistent and build better habits.
So let's continue and look at the next strategy. All right, we've already talked about starting small, using a timer, and removing distractions.
And now we're going to move to way number 4.
Way number 4, make your tasks clear and specific.
This is a very important step that many people forget,
Sometimes we procrastinate not because the task is hard.
but because it's not clear.
Exactly. If your goal is vague, your brain doesn't know where to begin.
For example, if you say, I need to study.
That sounds simple, but it's actually unclear.
Study what?
For how long?
Where do you start?
When your brain sees this kind of task, it feels confused.
And when we feel confused, we often delay action.
So instead, you should make your task very clear.
For example, instead of saying, I need to study,
You can say, I will study chapter 2 for 20 minutes.
that's much clearer.
Now your brain understands exactly what to do.
Another example, don't say, I need to work on my project.
Say, I will write the introduction of my project.
Clear tasks reduce mental resistance.
And they make it easier to begin.
Let's connect this idea with a useful question.
The question is, what exactly do I need to do right now?
When you ask this question, you give your brain direction.
And direction reduces procrastination.
This also helps you feel more in control.
Because instead of thinking about everything,
You focus on one clear action.
now let's move to way number 5.
Way number 5, accept imperfection.
This is a big one.
Many people procrastinate because they want everything to be perfect.
They think, if I can't do it perfectly, I shouldn't start.
But that idea creates pressure.
And pressure leads to avoidance.
For example, someone might delay writing because they want every sentence to be perfect.
Or delay starting a project because they don't feel ready.
But perfection is not required to begin.
In fact, starting imperfectly is better than not starting at all.
Let's say that again in a simple way.
Done is better than perfect.
When you allow yourself to make mistakes, something changes.
You feel more relaxed
And it becomes easier to take action.
because you're not trying to be perfect.
You're just trying to start.
And once you start, you can always improve later.
Exactly. Progress comes before perfection.
Let's give an example.
Imagine you need to write something.
Instead of waiting for the perfect idea,
Just write a simple draft.
it doesn't have to be amazing.
It just has to exist.
Then you can improve it step by step
This mindset can reduce a lot of procrastination.
because it removes fear.
Now let's go to way number 6.
Way number 6, connect your task to a reason.
This is about motivation.
But not just any motivation, clear motivation.
Sometimes we procrastinate because we don't feel connected to the task,
It feels meaningless
or boring,
or unimportant.
so we avoid it.
But when you connect a task to a reason, it becomes more meaningful.
For example, instead of thinking, I have to study,
You can think, I'm studying because I want to pass my exam.
or I want to improve my future.
Another example, don't think, I have to exercise.
Think, I want to be healthier and feel better.
That small change in thinking can make a big difference.
Because now the task has a purpose.
And purpose creates energy.
Let's introduce a useful question.
The question is, why does this matter to me?
When you answer this question, you connect your action to your goals.
And that helps you stay consistent.
Even when you don't feel like doing the task.
Now we've covered all 6 ways.
Let's review them together.
Way number 1, start small.
Way number 2, use a timer.
Way number 3, remove distractions.
Way number 4, make tasks clear and specific.
Way number 5, accept imperfection.
Way number 6, connect your task to a reason.
These 6 strategies are simple.
But they are very powerful when you use them consistently.
Now let's talk about how you can describe these ideas in English.
Because this is also an English lesson.
Exactly.
Let's start with a simple sentence pattern.
The pattern is, I procrastinate when blank.
For example, I procrastinate when a task feels too big.
Or, I procrastinate when I don't feel motivated.
This helps you explain your situation clearly.
Here's another useful pattern.
One way I try to stay focused is blank.
For example, one way I try to stay focused is by using a timer.
Or, one way I try to stay focused is by removing distractions.
These sentences are very useful in daily conversation.
Now, let's combine ideas into a longer answer.
For example, I sometimes procrastinate when I feel overwhelmed.
To solve this, I try to start with small tasks.
I also use a timer to help me stay focused.
That sounds natural and clear.
Let's try another example.
I used to procrastinate a lot.
But now I try to make my tasks more specific.
It helps me understand what to do.
These kinds of sentences help you express your thoughts more clearly.
And they also help you practice useful vocabulary.
Speaking of vocabulary, let's look at a few important words.
The first word is overwhelmed.
When you feel overwhelmed, you feel that something is too much to handle.
Another important word is focus.
Focus means giving your full attention to something.
Another useful word is distraction.
A distraction is something that takes your attention away.
These words are very common when talking about productivity.
Now let's practice a short dialogue.
I'll start. Do you ever procrastinate?
Yes, especially when tasks feel too big.
What do you do to solve that?
I try to break tasks into smaller steps.
That's a good idea.
I also remove distractions when I need to focus.
This kind of conversation is very natural in English.
And it helps you talk about real-life situations.
Now, let's take this one step further.
Imagine someone asks you for advice.
You can say, one way to stop procrastinating is to start small.
Or, you should try using a timer.
Or, it helps to make your tasks clear.
These are simple but useful expressions.
The more you practice them, the more natural they will feel.
And now that we've explored all 6 methods and some useful English patterns, let's continue by looking at how these ideas fit into daily life and how people build consistent habits over time. Because understanding something is one thing.
But actually using it every day is something else.
Exactly. Many people learn good strategies.
But they don't apply them consistently.
And consistency is the key to real change.
So let's talk about how you can turn these 6 ideas into daily habits.
The first thing to understand is that change doesn't happen instantly.
You don't wake up one day and suddenly never procrastinate again.
It's a process.
A gradual improvement.
Small steps repeated over time.
Let's imagine a simple situation.
You have an important task to do.
Maybe it's studying, working, or learning something new.
In the past, you might delay it.
But now you remember the first strategy.
Start small.
So instead of avoiding the task,
You begin with just one small action,
maybe just opening your book.
or writing one sentence,
That small action changes everything.
because now you've started.
And once you've started, it's easier to continue.
Then you use the second strategy,
You set a timer.
maybe for 15 minutes.
During those 15 minutes, you focus only on your task,
No distractions.
which connects to strategy number 3.
You remove distractions.
You put your phone away.
You create a space where you can focus.
Now something interesting happens.
The task feels easier,
Not because it changed.
but because your approach changed.
That's a powerful idea.
The way you approach a task can completely change how it feels.
Now let's continue.
Strategy number 4. Make tasks clear.
Instead of feeling lost,
You know exactly what to do.
that clarity gives you confidence.
Then strategy number 5.
Accept imperfection.
You don't try to be perfect.
You just try to move forward
That removes pressure.
and makes action easier.
Finally, strategy number 6.
Connect your task to a reason,
You remind yourself why it matters.
why it's important to you.
And that gives you motivation.
When you combine all these steps,
You create a system
a simple, practical system,
that helps you take action.
again and again.
Now let's talk about something very important.
What happens when you fail?
Because everyone fails sometimes.
Everyone procrastinates again at some point.
That's normal.
The goal is not perfection.
The goal is progress.
If you procrastinate one day,
That doesn't mean you failed completely.
it just means you had a difficult moment.
And you can try again.
The next day.
Or even the next hour.
Let's introduce a useful mindset.
Instead of saying, I failed,
Say, I'm learning,
that small change in thinking is powerful.
because it keeps you moving forward.
Now let's practice some useful English sentences for this idea.
Here's the first one. I'm trying to be more consistent.
Another one. I'm working on improving my habits.
Or, I'm learning how to manage my time better.
These sentences are very natural.
And they show growth.
Now let's imagine a short conversation.
I'll start. Do you still procrastinate sometimes?
Yes, but I'm getting better.
What helps you the most?
Starting small and using a timer.
That's a good strategy.
I also try to remember why my work is important.
That's a great example of a natural conversation.
Now let's take a moment to reflect.
Think about your own life.
What do you usually procrastinate on?
Is it studying, work, learning a skill, or something else?
Now ask yourself this question. What is one small step I can take today?
Not tomorrow,
Not next week.
today.
Because action starts in the present.
And even a small action is important.
It creates momentum.
And momentum creates progress.
Before we finish, let's do one final review.
6 ways to stop procrastinating.
Number 1, start small.
Number 2, use a timer.
Number 3, remove distractions.
Number 4, make tasks clear.
Number 5, accept imperfection.
Number 6, connect your task to a reason.
If you remember these 6 ideas,
And practice them regularly.
you will see real improvement,
Not instantly.
but gradually,
And that's how real change happens.
step by step.
Now it's your turn.
We have a question for you.
What do you usually procrastinate on?
And which of these 6 methods will you try first?
Write your answer in the comments.
You can use this sentence. I usually procrastinate on, but I will try this.
We really enjoy reading your answers.
And it's a great way to practice your English.
If you found this lesson helpful, don't forget to like this video.
And share it with someone who might need it.
Also, subscribe to Chill English channel.
Subscribing helps us continue creating calm and useful lessons for you.
Your support really means a lot to us.
And it helps more learners around the world.
Keep practicing a little every day.
Stay consistent.
And remember,
Small actions create big results.
see you in the next lesson.
Goodbye, everyone.